Welcome to The Explainer. We spend so much time analyzing complex data to understand human psychology, but sometimes the absolute deepest truths are found in simple stories. Today, we're exploring this ancient, incredibly fascinating parable about a young man named Marco, and we're going to unpack a highly practical mental health lesson hidden right inside it. So, can a single glass of water actually cure a stormy mind? It sounds kind of like a riddle, right? I mean, how could something just sitting on your kitchen counter hold the key to psychological restlessness? Well, as you'll see, this isn't about hydration at all. It's an exercise that reveals how human attention actually works. Section 1. The Storm of Overthinking. Okay, let's dive into this. Our story begins with a 24-year-old named Marco, and his internal world was just absolute chaos. His mind was deeply restless, constantly swirling with exhausting thoughts. Marco was basically being crushed between two immovable forces. On one hand, heavy regrets about his past, and on the other, this immense worry about his future. Because his brain was constantly time-traveling backward and forward, he was completely missing the present. This constant tempest meant he couldn't feel calm, it completely ruined his sleep, and honestly, heartbreakingly, he had actually forgotten how to smile.
Section 2. The Water Glass Challenge. Desperate for a cure, Marco undertook this incredibly tiring journey to a remote village in the hills to find a wise old man. This guy was a former famous city psychologist known for teaching people how to find peace.
Marco found him sitting quietly and peacefully on his green porch and delivered a desperate, highly relatable plea. He said, "Grandfather, my mind is very restless. I cannot stop thinking. I want peace in my heart. Can you help me?" It's a remarkably honest admission of suffering. Well, the old man slowly opened his eyes, offered a calm smile, and instead of giving Marco a long lecture or a textbook to read, he offered him a highly unorthodox challenge. The old man took Marco into his yard and filled a glass with water completely to the brim. He handed it to Marco with 3 simple, gamified instructions. Step 1, take this full glass. Step 2, walk to the edge of the village and back. And step 3, do not spill even one single drop. Marco was surprised, sure, but wanting to cure his mind, he accepted the challenge and started walking. Now, this was absolutely not a quiet Zen garden. The village roads were narrow and buzzing with chaotic life. Shopkeepers were loudly calling out to their customers, people were running and walking right past him, and dogs were barking in the street. It was pure sensory overload, which, if you think about it, is a perfect mirror of the severe level of distraction and noise that usually dominated Marco's own mind. But despite the chaos, Marco's behavior completely changed. Marco only saw the glass. His eyes stayed locked onto that water. He walked slowly, carefully analyzing every single step to ensure he kept his balance. His focus was so intense, so singular, that he successfully managed to navigate the entire chaotic village without a single spill. Section 3. The Secret to Inner Peace. And this brilliantly illustrates the story's climax. Marco returned triumphant, but the old man simply smiled and asked him, "That's good, but tell me, did you see the children playing on the side of the road? Did you hear the dogs barking?" Marco was genuinely surprised. "No, I didn't see or hear anything," he said. "I was only focusing on the glass." Because of his absolute, unwavering focus on the physical task right in front of him, his brain had completely filtered out all of the external chaos. The running people, the shouting shopkeepers, the barking dogs, they effectively ceased to exist for him. The old man smiled gently and revealed the lesson. This is the definition of the present moment. You see, attention is a finite resource. Because Marco poured 100% of his focus into the now, there was zero mental bandwidth left to process sadness about the past or fear about the future. The storm in his head wasn't just calmed, it was pushed out entirely by his focus on the present action. Section 4, Living in the Present. So what does this all mean for Marco and for us? Translating this old wisdom into a modern mental health takeaway, the old man revealed that this ability to quiet the mind was actually inside Marco the entire time. The cure to his stormy mind was simply learning how to direct his own attention. So the crucial point is this: peace is already inside us when we live in the present moment. Peace isn't some destination you arrive at, and it certainly isn't something you can buy. It's a byproduct of presence. When your mind is fully engaged in whatever is happening right in front of you, whether that's holding a glass of water, having a conversation, or doing your work, The regrets of yesterday and the anxieties of tomorrow naturally evaporate because they simply have nowhere to live. Our source material ends with Marco having a beautiful epiphany. If I want to calm my mind, I must keep my mind in this moment. As he walked home, with the sun setting and casting its last light on the ground, he was no longer that restless 24-year-old who arrived days earlier. He finally knew how to silence the storm. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to turn this psychological lesson back to you and leave you with a lingering question. How will you carry your own glass of water today? We all face sensory overload, emails, notifications, endless worries. But Marco's story proves we also have the power to anchor ourselves entirely in the present moment. The next time you feel your mind swirling, find your glass of water, focus on the now, and watch the chaos fade.